Stick to what you know how to do best. That's talking to that and sign checks. Leave the rest on to me, Daddy.
Up goes Blanchard. My hard-earned tax money.
1, 2, 3, guaranteed victory.
It's always you, Brett.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
If you smell what the Rock is cooking.
I can tell you it's going to be a day that I'm never going to forget. A lot of things I want to get off my chest.
What is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide. I'm the host with the most, the best one, Donnie, here with
the Armenian Nightmare, the beast from the Middle East, Chaz Smith. What is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs. Woo!
And this is a new episode of Old School versus New School. This week is Rumble Week. Everybody loves the Royal Rumble. Chaz and I, we are going to be going down memory lane, talking about some of our favorite Royal Rumble moments, some of, our favorite actual Royal Rumbles, and we're really going to be diving deep into this. But before we do that, if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're not a part of the thousands of subscribers, the best way to support us is by hitting that subscribe button now, turning on the post notifications, videos be coming out of nowhere, like an RKO, and of course, you already know, the grind is real. How excited are you, Chaz, for Rumble this week?
Oh, you have no clue. It's always been one of my favorite, absolutely, besides Mania, always one of my favorite pay-per-views, and I am damn excited this year.
And by the way, to all the old school versus new school maniacs, we want to let you guys know that this Saturday for the Royal Rumble, we are going to be doing an insane watch along. We're going to be having the entire We Are Wrestling crew, and it's going to be an insane live stream.
Ooh.
So we recommend you guys to watch along with us. We will be going live this Saturday for the Rumble.
Want to miss this.
Oh, it's going to be a really, really good time.
Yeah, it is.
But to start off the Rumble week, we get to start it off with old school versus new school because this week on the We Are Wrestling channel, we are doing Royal Rumble content all week long, baby.
Yeah, baby.
And I gotta admit, Chaz, the Royal Rumble for me has always been my favorite WWE pay-per-view of all time.
Definitely.
There's nothing more special than the Royal Rumble. Every 90 seconds, a new friggin' wrestler comes out. A new superstar comes out. You get the 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then the
Yep.
Like, that's the thing. Like, there's nothing more nostalgia, nothing more special than the Royal Rumble because it's like, regardless of this thing here that ruined wrestling, you never know who is going to be entering the Rumble.
No.
And that's what makes it so much fun.
Even with that, you still don't know. But imagine back in the day, the surprises. I mean, it was so great.
And we're going to be going all into it, baby, for this episode of the Rumble.
Actually inspired you, Donnie. Inspired you on our old channel.
Yes, DITB1. I actually did something very similar to the Royal Rumble. It was called the Dodgeball Rumble. And basically, two people would start every 90 seconds. A new person would come out. And then the other person previously that was out would be eligible. And we had these insane dodgeball rumbles. Like, if you're looking for just a random video, you're bored on YouTube, I'll put the link down below. Check out the dodgeball rumbles. They're so entertaining, so underratedly good.
I actually competed in the very last one.
That's right. And it's cool. There's like necklaces and a bunch of cool things that are involved.
It was I got to give you credit, bro. It was, you took somebody, you took something, an idea, and you creatively borrowed, and bands do it all the time. There's nothing wrong with it, and you ran with it, and I got to give you credit, man. You really, it was something really cool. I mean, that was a very creative, and it was awesome.
I'll tell you, I miss doing the
I miss
dodgeball rumbles. Those are like some of my favorite group
Yeah.
challenges we've ever done. But now getting into the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Because on old school versus new school, we love to get into the history of things. We love to talk about the old school stuff that we
Yes.
normally don't really get to talk about on, the We Are Wrestling channel. This is why I love this series, because I get to learn a lot of things from you. And also you get to learn, some new school stuff from me.
I do. I do.
So getting into the Royal Rumble, let's talk about the history behind the Royal Rumble. Mr. Pat Patterson,
Yes.
the one who created the Royal Rumble.
Yes, sir. An icon. And actually, if you go on the old We Are Wrestling, when Donnie and I first came up with the channel, we did a Pat Patterson tribute show when after he passed. And we were, we talked a little, no, we not a little, but we talked about the Rumble, but not like we're gonna go into it today. It was first tested in a house show in October of 1987. It took place in the first Royal Rumble, January 24th, 1988. But they would test them out at these house shows, and but the really cool part is the first Royal Rumble was broadcast live as a television special on the USA Network.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. The following year, the event started to be broadcast on pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when Pat Patterson thought of the idea, at first, wasn't Vince McMahon like negative towards it? Like he didn't think it was going to realistically work?
Yeah, because when they had tested it out, they weren't getting a really great response at the house shows. Because people really weren't understanding it.
Mhm.
And of course, because when you don't have an explanation of things, obviously it's going to be kind of,
And
gonna be
through the
kinda
years,
weird.
there's been a lot of, new type of matches that didn't make sense to the audience.
Sure.
One of them that stand out to me, the Pujami prison match.
But these you're talking house shows before the internet
Mhm.
and stuff, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
no explanation at all. Like just
Only the people that were there
Yeah,
knew.
exactly. So if like I always bring up on We Are Wrestling, old school versus new school, if it didn't happen on TV, it didn't happen. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
Hogan and Andre, like we talked about in the first episode.
Yeah.
Hogan and Andre wrestled many times. He slammed them many times.
Mhm.
They broadcasted on USA Network, and then the first one took place in, a real one took place in 1989. Thus became one of the big 4 annual pay-per-views: WrestleMania, Survivor Series, and SummerSlam, along with
Mhm.
those 3. And it was really cool to have just the 4, because it wasn't like so many, nowadays it's like so many, it was special. It was just so special
And that's something
having
I do like about AEW is they only
Yeah.
have 5
Yep,
pay-per-views usually
and they're
a
doing the
year.
right thing.
You have your 4, I believe it's Revolution, Double or Nothing, All Out, and
And
Full Gear, and the 5th one is the Forbidden Door,
Yeah,
which is just a special.
yeah,
But yeah, there's 5 pay-per-views
yep.
usually within a
But
year.
they're doing the right thing by that, because it's
Mhm.
special, and that's what I like about that's the one thing I do like about Tony Khan, because he's an old school fan, and he's you can call him a mark all you
Old
want.
school.
Yeah, whatever. He's a mark. I'm a
Hey,
mark.
we're wrestling marks too,
Yeah,
that's the thing.
absolutely.
I'm proud to admit I'm a wrestling
Absolutely.
mark.
You can call me Mark von Marcus the third,
You fucking mark!
whatever. But yeah, from 1993 to 2002, it was considered one of the big 5, including King of the Ring. But that pay-per-view event, it was discontinued in 2002. August 2021,
That
Money in the
pisses me
Bank
off.
became recognized as one of the big 5.
Yeah, no, like I'm upset that King of the Ring like isn't a pay-per-view anymore. They were so good. And that's
And
a
that
whole
was another
episode we have
one.
to do is the King of the Ring.
Yeah. And that was another pay-per-view that uh that started off as, the first the first pay-per-view, the first King of the Ring was Hacksaw Jim Duggan, you know what I mean? the real king, or but
Mhm.
they actually had one in 1985. They did a King of the Ring.
Mhm.
You know, I remember seeing it on TV, and they did it again on TV, and they did them into house shows. So,
So speaking of Hacksaw Jim Duggan, if you guys didn't know, he is the first ever Royal Rumble winner on pay-per-view.
yes,
And I want to know, because of course, as an old school wrestling fan, you definitely must have watched the first ever Royal Rumble
sure.
pay-per-view live. I want to know, what were your thoughts when you first watched the first ever Royal Rumble match?
Oh, I thought it was so. I watched the other one on the USA.
Mm.
I don't remember that one as much as the pay-per-view, but I just it was so it was so much to take in. So, but I remember when Vince explained it, when they explained it and stuff at the beginning and the explanation.
I will say Howard
Or
Finkel
Howard
always
Finkel. Yeah, Howard
absolutely
Finkel.
killed it with that.
Yeah, Howard
He
Finkel.
always made it make sense.
Yes. Howard Finkel explained it. He was so good. He was so great at that,
Mhm.
Man, it was a lot to take in. So, but it was just so different. And I love different. I love anything different, and so great. You didn't know what to expect. You did not know what to expect. And sure, it was kind of, it had its like, it wasn't as polished as it is, but that's what was so cool about it. That it was so cool. It was just, yeah, I loved it. I love it till this
Throughout the
day.
years, if we never had those, beginning years of the Royal Rumble, it might have been a little slow, but throughout the years it always evolved, and look where it's at now to
Yeah.
where it first started. It's a tradition for a lot of wrestling fans, and even people that don't really like WWE anymore, they will still pay attention to the Royal Rumble
Oh yeah.
because of how awesome and how like special it feels.
It's like people who don't really watch football, but they watch the Super Bowl.
Exactly, just like that.
Yep.
Same with WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Same thing could be
Yeah.
said.
Exactly.
You still pay attention.
First Royal Rumble, Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, the Cops Coliseum.
And that's the thing, like for me, like I remember watching some of the old school Royal Rumbles because for me, I've always, looked back at Rumble matches because I've always enjoyed watching them. It's just like it's not your ordinary match. And I think that's what makes it so enjoyable to watch. Like I always remember back in the day, you would have the people wrestling, and then when the next person would come out, they wouldn't have music. They would have like a second camera in like the corner of like the screen
Yep.
of the person walking out
Yes.
into the Rumble.
Yes. I loved it. That was so great. And because it didn't distract you with their you know what I mean?
And
And
one of my favorite things I got to say too,
yep.
sorry for
No, it's
interrupting.
okay. No, go ahead.
One of my favorite things, I love when WWE does the video packages for the Royal Rumble.
Oh
They
God,
show
yeah.
so much old school. They show all the eras of the Royal Rumble, and I think that's what really makes it special because you
Does.
get to look back and you get to see the Wardlow getting eliminated in like 2 seconds, and then you get to see Santino Marella in 2009 get eliminated in 1 second. And then you get to see like Kane eliminating all those people in 2001. You
Yep.
get to see Rey Mysterio 62 minutes in the Rumble in 2006.
Yep.
They show all of these memorable moments. Shawn
Yes.
Michaels, 1 foot hit the
Yep.
ground.
Yep.
I love when they do video packages for the Royal Rumble
Yes.
because it really makes you invested into the pay-per-view.
Sure,
And
absolutely.
the fact that nowadays we get both men and women Royal Rumbles, which we're going to get into the women's
Oh yeah.
Royal Rumbles later on in the episode. It's friggin' awesome.
Oh, absolutely. Incidentally, which is really weird and really cool, I forgot about this because I haven't seen it in a while. The main event for that, the first Royal Rumble was actually the main event was the Islanders, Haku and Tama versus the Young Stallions.
Oh,
Paul
wait,
Roman and Jim
so
Powers in a 2 out of 3 fall match.
look, I'm going to be 100% with you. Royal Rumble pay-per-views, I always hated it when the Royal Rumble match was not the main event. Always hated it as a kid.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Drove me absolutely insane.
Yeah, did not make sense.
The
Even
only
if
exception
and I
was
don't care if-
1998 Royal Rumble when Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker
Yeah.
because of the whole fire with the casket.
Yeah, sure.
That
If it's
made
Hulk
sense.
Hogan or, Hulk Hogan and Warrior or Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. Yeah, I mean, and it's different. But, I mean,
Mhm.
Islanders and the Young Stallions. Look,
Yeah, but back then they were trying, like,
they
they're
had some good,
still trying different
that's what I'm
things.
saying. They were
The footsteps.
trying. They didn't, yeah,
And then eventually you know what works and doesn't work.
exactly.
And that's why the
Trial and
Royal Rumble
error.
every year has evolved.
Trial and error. Yep.
Exactly. Trial and error. That's the best word to describe it, I think.
Yep. Yep.
So when did the WWF championship become the prize? Like if you win the Royal Rumble, you go on to WrestleMania for the WWF championship. When did that become a thing? Just an estimate time, you think? 'Cause I know in 1992, they had the WWF title on the line.
Yeah, and that's why
during the
that's
Rumble.
one my favorite Royal Rumble and many people's favorite Royal Rumble because it was actually for the championship.
And then I remember 91, you had, I think Hulk Hogan won, and then I think Sergeant Slaughter beat Ultimate Warrior for the
Yes.
title. So then you had Sergeant Slaughter versus Hogan at Mania. And then I know in 93, Yokozuna went against Bret Hart for the title at WrestleMania 9. So, was it, I don't know, I know it wasn't always for, the WWF championship.
Okay, here we
getting a
go. Here it
shot.
is. Got your answer, buddy. Okay, and I'm gonna give the winners here. So the first, you got Jim Duggan.
Yep. Big John Studd
John
was number
Studd.
2.
Huh?
Hulk
Yep.
Hogan was 3 and 4, right?
Yeah, Hulk Hogan. No, Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan was 3, and then Ric Flair.
Wait, no,
Hulk Hogan's 3 and
nope.
4. Yes,
3 and 4.
Yep.
Then it was, yep.
and then Ric Flair. Then that was for the vacant WWF title.
Mhm.
Then
Yokozuna.
and that's when it became. That's when the
Mhm.
first year.
That's what I figured because
Yep.
I remember in the video packages them always
Yep.
mentioning
Royal Rumble 6.
1993 was when it really started to happen.
Yep.
I just didn't know if that was 100%.
Yep.
But now we got that confirmed, baby.
January 24th, 1993, Sacramento, California, the Arco Arena.
And that's the thing about the Royal Rumble. I've always loved the evolution of it, and it's always been very interesting. And with over 20 different Royal Rumble matches, Chaz,
Yeah.
what was your favorite Royal Rumble match of all time?
Well, I
You
have
had
a
to
few.
pick one.
I have a few. I mean, I like.
Don't take mine, motherfucker. You know which one is mine.
I know. Well, it is one of mine. It definitely
That's
is one
right.
of mine. But I told you 1992 is my favorite, and I do like. I definitely do like. I gotta say it's probably a cross between 92 and then I like 94, 95.
That's fair, though.
When Brett and Lex.
I did. I'm not going to lie. I know a lot of people around the time it was negative with Lex Luger and Bret Hart winning because I know WWF at the time were trying to push Lex Luger as the next Hulk Hogan. But honestly, when I was a kid, I remember, you guys already know, Blockbuster, Hollywood Home Videos. I rented out those old Rumble matches. And I remember as a kid watching Royal Rumble 1994 and seeing Bret Hart and Lex Luger at the same time getting eliminated and being so confused.
Yep.
But I love that moment because WrestleMania 10, I love the way that they did it.
It was awesome.
You had Lex Luger and Bret Hart. They had to do, heads or tails. And Lex Luger got to wrestle Yokozuna earlier in the night. And then Bret Hart had to wrestle Owen Hart to, continue their feud in the beginning of the night.
What a great match, by the way.
And then the main event. No! How is Nickelodeon Guts number 5? Wow! you had Bret Hart versus the winner of Lex and Yokozuna. And I think that like having that build for WrestleMania made 10 very special.
Yes.
And a lot of
Absolutely.
people I know they criticize 9 and 10 because you didn't have the big Hulk Hogan or Ultimate Warrior. You didn't have those big names. But for me, what I loved about WrestleMania 9 and 10, and I think Bruce Pritchard said this on his podcast with Conrad Thompson.
Yep, something to wrestle with.
It was about the brand
Yeah.
WrestleMania. And I
Yeah.
think that's what I really loved about 9 and 10.
I liked 9 because it was outside.
Caesar's Palace, man, that whole theme
Caesar's
for that
Palace, it
pay-per-view.
was so cool.
Just hated that Hulk Hogan took the title from Yokozuna.
Yeah, you know, I watched that. I remember watching that. I thought that was so. I didn't like that. I didn't like that.
I didn't like it either.
I
But
thought
like
that was like
when it comes to
I
like
was
Lex
like,
and Brett, I liked when they had the co-winners because it brought a different storyline to the Rumble. Two
Yeah.
people getting eliminated at the same time.
Yeah.
And we've had, you know, some things happen throughout the years where wrestlers, two people, the final two, got eliminated at the same time.
Yep.
And instead of going back to 94, picking two winners, they would restart the match.
Right.
Which I think brought a whole new thing to it,
Sure.
which I like. And there's only one Royal Rumble with two co-winners.
I liked
pretty cool.
I like that. And I just didn't like the Hogan thing. He comes in with his big blood-filled eye and freaking steals the belt with his, you know.
I will say I did enjoy the tag match at WrestleMania 9 with Money Inc. versus Brutus and Hulk Hogan.
Yeah,
that was a good
was
tag
cool.
match.
That was cool.
But of course, Hulk Hogan had to have the spotlight, brother.
Hogan must pose, pal. Hogan must pose.
And it didn't make any sense because then at like King of the Ring, Yokozuna pretty much beat him.
Yeah, it was just, yeah, it's not.
Made no sense. But like, why was 1992 your favorite Royal Rumble?
Because it was just, first of all, because it was for the belt. I think it was just different. It was just something different, you know? And don't forget, mind you, at the time, there wasn't the winner would go to WrestleMania yet. We didn't have that yet. So, you know, I thought it was just so cool. It was so different. It was like, you know, it was vacant and he came, you know, it was awesome.
Yeah, because in 1992, I do remember in 2016 for the WWE Championship, they actually did the Royal Rumble. Roman Reigns had to defend the title in the Rumble.
Yes.
The Authority didn't like him. And then I remember Triple H, you know, coming and basically winning the WWE title. And that led to Triple H versus Roman for the title at Mania.
Yeah. Yeah.
But 1992, there was a lot of legends in that match.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
And
I remember, and I know you always talk about the promo after, you know, Ric Flair won.
Oh yeah, such an iconic promo, and he really stuck it to Bill Watts. You know what I mean? That's what I loved about that. Or Jim Herd. I'm sorry, I keep saying that. I keep saying that every time I tell that story, but it was Jim Herd who basically screwed over, you know, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. You know, when they came to, that's their reason that they came to their decision for coming to leaving WCW to come to WWF at the time when they became the Brainbusters.
Yeah, because I know Ric Flair, he had a short run in WWF around the time.
He did. He even brought the belt with him. I mean, that was weird. That was like, wow.
At least he didn't disrespect the title like Alundra Blaze did on WCW, putting it in the trash can.
Right. But that wasn't kayfabe, dude. He actually brought that belt. I mean, that's the thing. It wasn't kayfabe. Like he actually was holding that belt hostage. Like,
oh, Ric Flair, man, 16-time world champion,
yep.
Legendary. So now my favorite Royal Rumble of all time, and I'm glad you're letting me have the spotlight here because you know, and I know Danny and Ben know this as well. My favorite Royal Rumble of all time will always be the first Rumble that I was on this earth, and that would have been the Royal Rumble 1998 because I was born in November 97. And the Royal Rumble 1998 for me was always special. The entire match card for that pay-per-view I enjoyed from start to finish. You had, such an incredible card. And that Royal Rumble match for me was so special. I love that, we had the three faces of Foley during this Rumble. You had Cactus Jack starting off the Rumble with Chainsaw Charlie, two extreme talent, Mick Foley and Terry Funk, starting off a Rumble in 98. That was awesome. And then you had a young Rock at number 3 coming in. And then, in the middle of the Rumble, you got, I believe it was Mankind. He came out in the middle of the Rumble. And then towards the end, we had Dude Love. But what I loved about the most was the whole Royal Rumble 1998 pay-per-view was surrounded by Stone Cold Steve Austin. The whole story into that Rumble was whoever can take Stone Cold Steve Austin out will get a huge check, and I believe a shot at the WWF Championship.
Right.
Nobody could take out Stone Cold. And throughout the night, they would have, clips of people trying to, get into his locker room and trying to, have the bounty on Stone Cold's head. He would, show up in the Rumble and get everybody eliminated. And you had, up in the box office seats, you had Mike Tyson and Shane McMahon, I remember watching. And it was just such a great Royal Rumble pay-per-view. It was such an amazing Rumble match. And also, I love the year after, 1999. They had a whole story built around Vince McMahon going into the Rumble because people couldn't get Austin out in 98. So Vince McMahon had to
come in and win it.
And he had to do his training, chasing chickens and freaking drinking his eggs. Yes, I will continue bringing that up on Old School versus New School.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be a thing here. That's going to be a thing on here. Definitely. That's going to be part of it.
I loved that Vince McMahon and Stone Cold started off 1 and 2. And then you had, the Corporation, which in my opinion, one of the most underrated factions of all time during the Attitude Era. You had them, take out Steve Austin, going all over the arena. So, like, in the beginning of the friggin' match, they weren't even in the ring, which was, like, the first time they've ever done something like that. And I just liked how, like, there was a story to both of these Rumbles being surrounded by Stone Cold Steve Austin himself.
Yep.
And I can't forget 1998. All right. The casket match with Shawn Michaels and Undertaker.
Absolutely.
That was a classic.
Absolutely.
It sucks that Shawn Michaels, injured his back.
Yeah. Oh, that when he took that bump. Oh my God. It was so hard to watch.
And I can't forget a great tag match during it. Even though we're talking about Rumble matches.
No.
98, Legion of Doom versus New Age Outlaws for the tag team championships.
Yes. Dude, it's the Royal Rumble. We don't just have to talk about the Rumble itself.
Oh, man. Ken Shamrock versus The Rock for the Intercontinental Championship. And then he tapped The Rock out, but then basically didn't get the championship because he would not let go of The Rock's ankle. Which I don't know why, in New School Wrestling, they don't do that anymore. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, they don't do enough realism like that. Like he was nuts. Like he did a lot of stuff like that. He'd flip out. Yeah, that was such good stuff.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. McMahon coming in at number 2 though too. He came in at number 2 in that Rumble.
And I like too how he won, but the only thing I didn't like was usually the winner of the Royal Rumble goes for the WWF Championship, and at that Mania in 1999,
didn't they have a battle royal?
I think they did something like that, but I know Vince McMahon wrestled Stone Cold. I think it was at Saint Valentine or something.
Oh, that's when Kane. Kane debuted.
And he put his thing on the line in 99.
That's when Kane debuted, the St. Valentine Day Massacre.
Yep. That pay-per-view there in 99. I do remember that.
Yep.
Well, I gotta say, I really feel like
yes, it was a battle royal, and The Rock actually won that.
Yep, I do remember that. That's the only thing I did not like about Vince winning it. But besides that, 98 and 99, especially the entrance at that time too, I don't know why I was so fascinated with that tunnel that they had.
Yeah.
It was just, I don't know why. They used it for WrestleMania 14 as well. I don't know. I really enjoyed that setup for some reason. And it was so simple too. It wasn't even anything special.
That's the thing. When you can have something that simple, but make it so iconic, you know what I mean? And I'm gonna bring this up throughout not just the episode, but I'm gonna bring this up throughout our whole series. It matters what people you have also. You know what I mean? Superstars make, look at we were talking, in we were talking in the last episode, you have how many um how many wrestlers nowadays and you know are so forgettable because they're not like, there's no characters really. Great athletes, but you could put the same guys, all the production value they have, you're still forgetting about. You're still like, yeah, who the hell is he? Who the hell is he? You can put these guys with hardly any production value, and they're still going to make it memorable.
You're absolutely right about that. And that's the thing. Like,
That's what I love.
with the Rumbles, we talked about some of our favorite Royal Rumble matches. Let's talk about some of our favorite moments in the Rumble, because there are over hundreds of different moments that have happened in Royal Rumble matches that are always, remembered. I think, you and I, we definitely should go back and forth and, talk about some of our favorite, memories that from watching the Rumble.
Absolutely. What was one of your, I won't say your favorite, but what was one of your, like, when you think of the Royal Rumble, like, as far as moments, like, what are one or two that really stick out, like, to you? And even if it's something we already talked about, I mean, we can.
One that really sticks out to me definitely has got to be Royal Rumble 2001. This was, I felt like, the first time that we got hardcore stuff in a Rumble match. I know in 98, you had the chainsaw from Chainsaw Charlie, and
Yep.
you had like a chair or two, a couple chairs, like, Cactus Jack and, Chainsaw Charlie were smacking each other freaking with the chair, trying to play freaking whack-a-mole with each other's heads. But Royal Rumble 2001, this was around the time where the hardcore division was, like at its like highest peak on the mountain. And I loved how they booked this Rumble match in 2001. You had all these hardcore guys coming out. You had Al Snow. You had Raven coming out with the carriage full of weapons and stuff. You had Steve Blackman. You had all of these, hardcore guys coming out. And I really loved how different that Rumble was with like bringing in the weapons. And then you had Kane come out and basically had the most eliminations in like Rumble history for
Yeah.
the longest time, eliminating all those guys. And then after all this hardcore shenanigans happens, you have Drew Carey come out. Drew fucking Carey
Yes.
comes out into the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
Like, it was, for me, that was absolutely awesome. And then you had the Honky Tonk Man, and then he gets smacked with the freaking guitar.
Yep.
That was pretty cool, too.
That was
because
great.
I loved when the Attitude Era would bring in some of those old legends at times, because it's like they weren't overused, but when they would show up that one time, like Bob Backlund did in, one of the Attitude Era Rumbles.
That was
It
92.
was special.
Well, not the Attitude Era, but yeah. I mean,
Bob Backlund showed up in the 2000
2000.
Rumble,
Yeah,
too.
yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, I loved about 2001 Royal Rumble was it was special. You had the hardcore guys, and then, you threw in, like, the Hardys in there. And then, you had Kane dominating, and then you had started having the big stars show up, like freaking Stone Cold and
Yeah.
The Rock
Yep.
and all of these, big-time players going
Yep.
at it towards the end, and it really felt important.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're right, and when you have those legends show up, like you said, it just, for me, it always hit me like right, even when it was happening, not just thinking back on it, like, nostalgia is remembering what happened in the past. Something special, bro, when you are watching it and it feels nostalgic to you at the freaking time you're watching it.
And that's how I feel 98, 99, but also 2001.
I'm telling you, bro, that's how I feel about back in the day watching when I used to watch like Saturday Night's Main Event. Like, it felt special then. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
now I watch it, it hits me right in the feels, but it just felt special then. You knew. I used to get goosebumps. I used to get the stomach, the the roller coaster feeling in this.
Butterflies.
Yeah, the butterfly stomach, man. Oh,
So what about you, Chaz? Like one of your favorite moments from the Rumble?
I mean, obviously, the Shawn Michaels hanging on to the
One foot touching the floor.
Yeah, because look, at any second that could if he let go, if his hands got sweaty enough and slipped, the whole thing would have been blown.
Mhm.
He pulled it off, and it's such an iconic moment. One of the coolest moments for me was in '93, the '93 Rumble, when Bob Backlund came in at number 2. Ric Flair came in at number 1, and Bob Backlund came in at number 2, and lasted like this ridiculous amount of time. He was in there for an hour, 1 minute and 10 seconds.
Wow.
He was eliminated by Yokozuna.
And I know around that time, like being in there for like an hour was really impressive.
Yeah, for Bob, especially for Bob, somebody at his age at the time, he was like 40 something,
Yeah, and like I even remember, Rey Mysterio being in like 2006 Royal Rumble, being in there for 62 minutes and having, that insane performance in honor of Eddie Guerrero. That was like the match that like he really honored to Eddie Guerrero. Came out, the nice red gear.
Yeah.
Came out in Eddie Guerrero's car.
Yeah,
had
the car.
shirt on, doing Eddie Guerrero's thing. That was such an amazing moment. And I actually really I got to say, 2006 Royal Rumble, I love the theme of that Royal Rumble. It was like this cool, royalty theme. Like, it was funny. The poster for that Rumble was actually the McMahons. Like, they were all, dressed up like royalty.
Yes.
And it was cool. Like, you had, the castle, entrance stage thing. And you had, the 2, guards. Like, they would open up the doors, kind of like they used to do at King of the Ring for the wrestlers, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, they kind of looked like they were in Caesar's Palace or something. It's really cool.
Gotta give credit where it's due. The Spirit Squad starting off that Rumble, coming out with one of the greatest cheers I've ever seen in my entire life. Such an amazing moment. I gotta give a shout out to my boy Kenny, Nikki, Mikey, Mitch, and Johnny, the Spirit Squad. They came out and they had one of the probably better than freaking half of the Super Bowl performances at halftime that I've seen in the Rumble. You had one of the greatest cheers of all time. I gotta say, that was such an underrated group.
No, that was good. That was good.
And it really got you excited it got me excited for the Rumble. I know everybody else hated it. I loved when the Spirit Squad
I thought
came
it was pretty cool because I can appreciate entertainment, being an entertainer,
I remember as a kid, I wanted to freaking break my TV. When I watch back now, I get a good laugh out of it.
Absolutely.
It's great. But I gotta say, one thing I do miss, since we're talking about some of our favorite moments and stuff.
And John Cena defeat Edge in that Rumble too.
Yep, John Cena did defeat Edge and got back his championship.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that I do miss, and this is around Ruthless Aggression time. I don't know if they did this in old school. I don't think they did. But in Ruthless Aggression era, I miss when WWE at the Royal Rumble pay-per-views, after, the matches, they would have backstage segments with the bingo cage with the balls, where people would select, their entrant in the Royal Rumble.
Oh, absolutely. That's how it started.
You would have these segments of wrestlers backstage going into the GM's office, and they would, friggin' spin the thing, and then you get their reaction. One guy's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And then you have the other guy that's like, let's go.
Oh yeah.
I love those segments, and I feel like we need to bring back the bingo cage.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that was from the day one. Mean Gene Okerlund used to, interview the people, and they.
Oh, okay. So he used to interview them, and then they would select their numbers and stuff.
That's same thing with King in the Ring. They used to show him interviewing people and showing the brackets. Every superstar there was so many great superstars back then, and they focused on the show. What happened in the ring took care of itself.
I have enjoyed tag team wrestling more now, than I ever have in my entire life. And I think a lot of it has to do with AEW, tag team matches, especially the pay-per-views.
Those crowds back then, wrestling fans were wrestling fans.
With old school wrestling, the only thing I criticize is the pace of matches. I think when it comes to old school, it's, for me, a little too slow. Characters, on the other hand, they're on a whole nother level.
You could see your hands a little too close.
Honestly, I would rather take the belt that I'm wearing on my pants. I'd rather be representing that than the fucking the new WWE Championship, okay? New episodes of Old School versus New School air every Monday only on We Are Wrestling. Yeah.
And seeing who would be facing who,
Yeah. And that's the thing, little things like that are missing in today's
Such
wrestling.
a huge difference.
Because it's so simple.
Simple, exactly.
A bingo cage, a ball with your number on it, entering the Rumble.
Yeah. Such simple little details, but make such a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, we had a bingo cage and freaking Best One and DITV1. Come on.
Yeah. And that was an honor because it was an honor because of what WWE did. And that's the thing, I remember vividly JBL, pulling one of his bullshit upsets in, 2005 in, a match that he had. I think it was against Big Show. And I remember him, celebrating the Basham brothers, Orlando Jordan. They had the champagne he was celebrating. And then Teddy Long was pissed off out of his mind and, made JBL basically wrestle. I think it was a cage match at No Way Out against two people. And JBL, freaking his eyes freaking came out of his head.
That's all right. Cause he got his comeuppance the next year at, against the Boogeyman. So.
Oh wait, no, Rumble 2006. Actually, JBL had a triple threat match in 2005 for the title.
Yeah.
And then at No Way Out, he had the wrestle in a cage match.
Yeah.
I do remember that now.
Yeah. But I'm saying he got defeated by the Boogeyman in 2006.
Yep, he did. Yes, he did, Chaz. But now, one of my another favorite moment of mine with the Rumble, I really, gotta say, Brock Lesnar in the Royal Rumble 2020. I gotta admit, for a new school Royal Rumble, I was very impressed with Brock Lesnar's performance in this Rumble. I loved how Lesnar was the WWE champion. He felt like he had no competition. He already conquered everybody after, beating Undertaker in the streak. He was dominating everybody. So he says, what the heck? Let me just enter the Royal Rumble.
We watched that.
You had Brock Lesnar, entering, in the beginning of the Rumble. And you would have Brock Lesnar just throwing out these people in one-on-one situations all the way until Drew McIntyre enters the Rumble, midway through. And then, friggin', you made Drew McIntyre a superstar when he hit him with the Claymore.
Absolutely.
And that crowd erupted. And I feel so sorry for Drew McIntyre because, the Thunderdome, with the whole pandemic thing happening.
Yes.
I wish he had that WrestleMania moment.
Yes. I'll tell you, I remember when we did the WrestleMania, the first during the pandemic, when we did that WrestleMania show episode, and it was the first one when they went the 2 days, the first ever WrestleMania when they went to 2 days. And when they did the Bray Wyatt, the Bray Wyatt thing, and man, such really good segments, and it was so sad that they couldn't have an audience for it, and there was a lot of great moments, and I felt bad. Same thing, but for McIntyre, I felt really bad for him.
I did feel really bad for Drew McIntyre, but I loved how they did this Royal Rumble. Brock Lesnar in the beginning, it was entertainment. Him kicking everybody's ass, and then you had MVP, make his return.
Yep.
And then you had Brock Lesnar just, jamming, breaking out of character a little bit. That was funny to see. And then, you had Keith Lee and Brock Lesnar had a stare down. That was a cool moment.
Yeah.
And I felt like 2020, that Royal Rumble was awesome. You had even Edge's return to professional wrestling
That-
after freaking almost 10 years.
I marked out for that. Yeah, we were watching that together. It was at your house for that, and it was, man, I marked the hell out
Such
for that.
a emotional moment.
It was great.
Wish I had my reaction for that.
Yeah.
But to the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there, you get my reactions now to all big things.
For sure.
I make wrestling content for you
For
guys.
sure.
But what's another favorite moment of yours, Chaz, that stands out?
Jeez, there's so many moments, so many damn great Royal Rumble moments. I liked when.
What about that moment in like 1999 or 1990 or 1991 when Bushwhacker Luke just came out and then he got thrown out and he started whacking his way back to the locker room? You know, my dad always said both my brothers, they were the Bushwhackers.
That's hilarious.
Literally comes out, gets thrown out.
Yeah, I just made my money. Boop. Oh, see you later.
I love those stupid moments in the Rumble.
When Ted DiBiase tried to buy the number from I forgot who it was, but he was trying to pay off. When he was trying to pay somebody off to get a better to get a higher entrant number.
Gotta love the $1 Million Man.
Yes.
Like, his character was so amazing.
Absolutely.
And I can't wait to do a whole episode on him.
Oh, there absolutely will be one.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
My favorite new generation superstar right there, $1 Million Man. Well, Golden Era too. That's where
Yes,
he
Golden
mostly did
Era
stuff.
for sure.
My favorite Golden Era wrestler was $1 Million Man. But here's another moment of mine that I really liked. Another new school one.
Okay.
And it's so stupid, but
No?
absolutely hilarious. Royal Rumble 2016. Besides AJ Styles, making his WWE debut during that Rumble, which I marked the fuck out because I, grew up watching TNA wrestling.
Oh, absolutely.
Watching him, first start off and, get to where he got to at that Rumble. But I loved in the Rumble match when R-Truth came out and everybody's just beating each other up. R-Truth goes under the ring.
Yes.
Pulls a ladder and then freaking climbs the ladder and all the wrestlers are looking at him stupid. And he thought like he won the Money in the Bank or he won the WWE Championship. That was such an awesome moment. Always like mistake the matches. I love that.
R-Truth is crazy.
And I will say a really cool moment too that definitely has to be mentioned is, some of the new school tactics that happen in today's, wrestling, which, we'll get into now.
Yeah, sure.
Because, of course, in old school, Royal Rumble matches, they were a little bit more slower pace. Like they were, creating the foundation for the Royal Rumble pay-per-views. And now, through the years, WWE always tries to evolve the Royal Rumble by doing different things. And we've definitely seen a huge evolution with the Rumble. And I want to know, Chaz, how do you feel about the new school Royal Rumble matches?
Listen, Royal Rumble is one of the matches I have to say that they really have not dropped the ball with.
The only time they dropped the ball was when Roman Reigns won the Rumble in 2015.
Well, what I'm saying is overall.
Yes, overall.
Overall, they haven't screwed it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
It's
they never
something
screwed
that
up the format, but some of those
has-
winners are very questionable.
Yeah, it's something that has stood up. It stands up. You know what I mean? Do I like that everybody was so everybody was like such a superstar and and there were so many great moments, yeah, but there's always really great moments in every Rumble, and there's always one of the things I look forward to is the surprise entrance, because you get those every year.
Real quick, favorite surprise entrant?
Oh, that's freaking tough.
I got you good on that one,
That-
Chazzy Poo.
Oh, that's hard, man. Wow. Holy crap. Gobbledygook. No, that's another We Are Wrestling favorite. Or old school versus new school favorite. No, it's something about poultry. I don't know. Chicken, turkeys. Jeez.
I got mine while you think about it. Royal Rumble 2008, John Cena.
Okay, that's a
I
really good one.
loved when John Cena entered number 30 and won that Rumble. As you know, John Cena being my childhood hero, I loved watching that moment of him winning the Rumble and going on to WrestleMania 24 against Randy Orton and Triple H for the WWE Championship in Miami, Florida.
Yes, sir. That's a really good one. Man, I'd have to say, and you stumped me on this one, man. You stumped the heck out of me.
That's
on this
right.
One.
I stumped you like freaking Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah, you did. I'm stumped. Just call me Stumpty Dumpty. I'll just go with a moment though. I remember, I believe it was 1989 when Jake the Snake came in. He got eliminated, and he came in. I think Andre eliminated him, and he came back, ran back with the bag,
the
and
snake.
and he threw it in the ring, and Andre eliminated himself because they were having a feud at the time. It was great.
That was pretty cool. I do remember that. Back to like the evolution of the new school Royal Rumbles. I know you talked about like the new like the surprises. You still enjoy the surprises, but what else do you enjoy about the new school Royal Rumbles?
It's just the anticipation, like you mentioned at the beginning. Like even social media can't ruin. They really hold. This is something they really closely guard. It's really awesome. I mean, people they try to say, oh, this person's gonna, and a lot of times they're right, but I mean, there's been a lot of times, even in today's, wrestling, that there's been some surprises that people have not gotten right, or have not even thought of.
Yeah.
Like,
and something with WWE, they gotta like chill on like telling people all the
the leaking is just.
That's why sometimes I look forward more to like the women Royal Rumble matches, because you actually get genuine surprises.
Yeah.
Like, last year you had Mickie James entering the Rumble, coming out to Hardcore Country and the Knockouts Championship. Such a cool moment.
Yeah. Right, I think one of my, actually, speaking of that, one of my favorite was when the women's Royal Rumble, when
you're gonna get me stumped on years, just for heads up. Who cares about the years? Just say the moment.
No, I'm not talking about the year.
Because I get my late 2010s mixed up all the time.
No, that's okay.
Better be okay. I have a central processing disorder, motherfucker.
What kind of jerk would I be? Wow.
Well, you are wearing a scarf like my buddy Max.
Yes. Repping the Burberry, baby.
I'll tell you right now, if MJF ever friggin' pulled up in a Royal Rumble, I would probably be shitting Burberry.
Yeah, you and me both, buddy.
I would probably lose my shit. Watch him in 2024 when his contract is up. He doesn't re-sign with AEW, and he just goes into the Royal Rumble match, and then after the Royal Rumble match, maybe he goes back to AEW just to say,
goodness.
"Oh, I was in the Rumble match."
Wow.
Fuck you, Tony Khan.
Wow.
I doubt it though, because if he was gonna do that, like WWE is gonna sign him. They're gonna try to sign him for a long-term deal. They will not allow him to be a troll and be in the Rumble match. But I would love that if like MJF pulled up in a Rumble match. So like, what would be like? You were talking about like a woman's moment. Like, what is she like? Beth Phoenix.
Beth Phoenix, yes. When she made a return.
That's a good one.
That was pretty cool.
I'll tell you a good one for the women.
Because that was pretty like Attitude Era-ish, like between Attitude Era and
not Attitude
Ruthless
Era.
Aggression.
It was all Ruthless Aggression with Beth Phoenix.
Well, no, she came in at the end, like the end.
No, she was training in OVW until like 2005 or 6.
Yeah, that's true.
Because she like made her debut like 2006. But I will say one of my like favorite moments, like in a women's Rumble, I loved Ivory's return.
I was
like
just,
when
oh my
when
God,
she came out like as like the rights to censor.
you son of a
I
bitch.
loved
You
it.
son of
That
a
was
bitch.
great.
I
She
was
comes
thinking
out
of
with the
Ivory too.
microphone, like having that like set rights to censor music playing. I loved it.
I was just gonna, I had the juice in my mouth. And I was gonna say, I was thinking Ivory. Yes, that was great.
But like my opinion about like the new school Royal Rumble matches, I love the athleticism because that's the thing that like that makes these, new school Rumble matches very entertaining to watch. The fast-paced wrestling style works in this type of environment.
Yes,
Being in a ring with 29 other superstars.
yes,
You're able to do crazy shit
yeah,
during this because it's one of those, big anticipated matches
yeah.
where like every fan in the arena, every fan watching at home, the adrenaline rush gets you
You got
because
to
of
be
how
careful.
excited you are.
You're right. You're absolutely right. But you got to be careful sometimes with those high spots because, like I remember back in the day when the guys used to try to high spots. People used, that's a good, easy way to get eliminated. You know,
Hey, but that's the thing too that I like is that if you botch elimination, your ass can't get back in the ring unless the referees aren't looking, which sometimes they did that back in the day. I do remember that.
yeah,
But that's the thing, like, I really like is that with the Rumble, it's like one shot. And like for me, I love how much the Royal Rumble matches have evolved because with old school wrestling, the only thing I criticize is the pace of matches. I think when it comes to old school, it's for me a little too slow. Characters, on the other hand, they're on a whole nother level. But then you get into the Attitude Era,
I give you
the
that.
pace picks up a little bit.
I give you that.
It's more watchable.
Yeah.
But for me, the best pace was Ruthless Aggression. I think they were at a perfect pace from start to finish. Nowadays, the pace is too fast.
Yeah, it's a little too much.
But in the Royal Rumble, it works.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want to see a ton of high spots in a Royal Rumble, though. I mean,
Yeah, but that's how you get some of your defining moments.
oh yeah, no, for
Like
sure.
John Morrison freaking, jumping onto that barrier, man.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to see I don't want to see it loaded with high spots. Like here and there, if it's sprinkled in and made done tastefully and done right, yes. But I don't want to see like John Moxley bleeding type high spots, like
Yeah, but in WWE, you're not gonna get no friggin' bloodbath.
no, you're not understanding what I'm saying. I'm comparing it to John Moxley bleeding.
Oh, you love
like,
when he bleeds.
he like bleeds. Somebody made a joke like he left the arena and went backstage and did a promo and then bled after the promo. He started bleeding after the promo.
That's the thing, like, when fans guess John Moxley's friggin' skin tone, they think it's red for blood. That's a cool did you know
red
fact.
rooster.
But I gotta say, like, I love, and here's a hot take. I got a real good hot take for the
Go
Royal
for it, buddy.
Rumble. When it comes to, like, the cool little high spot tricks. Do not get me wrong, guys. I enjoy Kofi Kingston's. I enjoy, his things that he does in the Rumbles, the handstands, jumping on the commentary tables, doing, all these freaking gymnastics. But nothing will ever beat what John Morrison did in that Rumble, holding on to that friggin' barrier.
No, that was awesome.
That was one of the coolest things I've ever seen in a Royal Rumble match.
Yes. Kofi
And, like,
just
do not get me wrong. Kofi,
overdid it. You know what
I think the handstand like spot was amazing.
Oh yeah.
But then when it got to like the commentary table and then like him, doing other things, it kind of got a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He overdid it.
Meh.
Yeah.
But I still look forward to a Kofi Kingston spot every year, like every other, new school fan out there, just because of the adrenaline rush you get when you're watching the Rumble match. But afterwards, I'm like, I've already seen it last year and the year before that.
That's how I feel about a lot of stuff in the new wrestling. It's like I saw it.
Dude, do you remember when freaking Paul London got friggin' clothesline from Gene Sinitsky and friggin' did like 2 backflips.
Oh my gosh, yes, dude. He wailed him, bro.
Dude, Paul London got so much heat for that
Yeah,
spot.
he did. Yes, he
which
did.
was bullshit because friggin' they were trying to put Gene Sinitsky
they're
over
trying to
as
put
like
him
this
over.
monster.
Like,
And
seriously.
Paul London made the man look like a freaking
Yes, he did.
monster.
Yes, he did.
It's just sad that Gene Sinitsky, like his only good run was his feud with Kane.
I know.
Kicking the fake baby in the crowd.
What's with the poultry in this show? What's going on?
It wasn't my fault.
It wasn't my fault. Oh gosh.
I need a drink for that one.
Dude, we're talking about chickens, roosters, turkeys. What's going on?
Roosters, turkeys, and Gene Sinitsky.
And chickens and snitskis.
Hey, it wasn't his fault.
No, it wasn't his fault. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh shit. Oh, that's great. That is great.
I'm a Snitsky sympathizer.
I'm a Sinitsky Mark.
You fucking Mark!
You know what's crazy? Like this is like a little off topic here, but you know what I find like absolutely like mind blowing? During the Ruthless Aggression era, around the same time on Raw, you had Gene Sinitsky and Kane feuding, and then you had this character on SmackDown named Heidenreich, and he was feuding with the Undertaker.
Yeah.
And like it's crazy that like both of those two guys were getting billed as like monsters, and then like after their feuds with like the Brothers of Destruction, they just go like right down the card. And usually if like you're a new talent and you're going against a guy like Undertaker and Kane, remind you, 2 guys that are actually putting you over, you would think that like they would like be taking the next steps.
Sure.
But it doesn't help that Gene Sinitsky freaking kicked a fake baby into the crowd. It wasn't my fault.
That was so cringe.
And it really doesn't help that Heidenreich fucking Michael Cole.
What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on?
Wait 1 second.
Baby kicking, roosters, Michael Cole getting. What is going on?
Oh my God, JR.
Michael Cole in that uni thing, the varsity uni thing when he was doing
the coal mine
varsity wrestling thing.
Dude, remember the coal mine? That was great.
Oh,
that was
yes.
some great stuff.
Yes. Oh,
I miss
God.
Michael Cole's heel run. That was so good.
Oh, good.
No, but like seriously,
Benny
like
boy.
it's crazy to me like how Heidenreich and Gene Sinitsky like had these massive pushes in late 2004, and then like they didn't do much.
No, you're right. And to go from wrestling like guys, especially guys that, you know, like Undertaker and Kane, to going down, and then to nothing, like to fading away into like oblivion. Yeah, I mean that's I never thought of that. That's a great point.
It's just sad that like Heidenreich's career, like that's what he's gonna be known for, is just what he did to Michael Cole. Or the time that they tried redoing the Legion of Doom, and then they
God, it was so bad.
And they had Heidenreich teaming up with the Roadwire Animal.
That was so bad.
Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna get a picture.
That was terrible.
Oh man. Whew.
It was like Sting in a Sugar Skull makeup or something.
Yeah,
Oh,
he was. Yo, I didn't realize that. He was trying to be Surfer Sting. Oh my God. Oh, that was. I needed that laugh. That was great.
That felt good. It did.
What's one of the funniest Royal Rumble laughs you got? Something like so stupid.
Wow.
Since we just like laughed about Heidenreich for like 10 minutes.
We are Wrestling Podcast.
that was absolutely executed perfectly. And in wrestling, timing is everything.
Let's flip this around and turn on everybody's heads. I think that's a very real possibility.
If I ever go to a Comic-Con and Batista's there, that's going to be what I waste my question on. Is like, what was running through your head when that kid jumped in front of you and was just doing your fucking motion?
Do that. That's his buddy. This right here.
Exactly, bro. So what the fuck is the issue?
Like that was back in the day, when they would show the surgeries like on video during like those vignettes. The dude is a fucking star.
And I didn't see a 3D or I didn't see anything from them both. I would have been extremely fucking pissed. I know that for a fact.
Do you want this dude
You're
to
a
snap his
toxic
back?
wrestling fan.
Literally, Vince McMahon is probably the most iconic villain in like just the world at this point. Like, you can open a fucking history book and Vince's name is somewhere in there about all the bad shit he's possibly fucking done.
AEW and WWE cannot come up with anything creative for this guy.
I do not think they need to focus on casual fans. They need to focus on hardcore fans. Hardcore fans are the ones that are going to bring the ring.
Featuring your hosts, Ben, Danny, and Donnie. We all wrestling.
New episodes of the We Are Wrestling Talk Show air every Saturday, only on We Are Wrestling.
One of them was the thing with Jake the Snake and Andre. Just the way, because he was so slow getting out of the ring. It was just because he couldn't, anybody else would just jump over the rope, but he was just so slow trying to get over the.
Mine has to be Santino Marella.
Oh, Santino
1
Marella.
second.
Oh, gosh.
That was great.
He was always hilarious, though.
Yeah.
Always
And I
hilarious.
like when they do the comedy spots
Yeah.
in the Rumble. Always hilarious.
Always funny. Yeah, I'd say probably the Chainsaw Charlie and Cactus Jack.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, that
was cool. You had them two freaking smacking each other in the head, playing whack-a-mole with each other.
That was so funny.
Yeah, because Chainsaw Charlie, I used to love when he his entrance, he had no music. All you heard was the chainsaws.
Yeah, it was like he comes out with this old lady stocking on his face. It's like the guy is a legend, this is what
dressed up like Tim Allen from Home Improvement.
Fucking tool time.
All right, so now getting into the women's Royal Rumble, because of course with the women's revolution, around the mid 2010s, we saw a change in the women's revolution, and they have really taken off.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of old school wrestling fans that they used to always say the Divas were, the potty break match. And I want to know, Chaz, as an old school wrestling fan, how do you feel about the women's evolution, the revolution, and how do you feel about them having their own 30-woman Rumble match?
Well, I'll tell you right now.
Because you know how the old school fans are.
Yeah. And I am an old school fan, obviously. And I'll tell you right now, there is no comparison to nowadays as far as the women's wrestlers. There were some good ones back in the day, like you had Rockin' Robin, you had the Jumpin' Bomb Angels, the tag team champions. You had Jimmy Hart managed the glamour.
Oh, I thought you were about to say Jimmy Hart was a diva back in the day.
Huh?
I thought you were saying that the Mouth of the South, he was a diva back in the day.
No. He managed the glamour girls.
Yeah.
And they were the tag team champions, and there were some really good women's wrestlers back then. Sensational Sherry,
years. You had Trish
Fabulous
Stratus
Moolah.
and Lita, of course.
Yeah, and then
All
then
very
the
talented.
Attitude Era,
Chyna.
Attitude Era, Lita, Chyna. But today, and how do I feel about the women's Rumble? Absolutely, I'm all for it. All for it. They deserve it for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I love that not only do we get one, but we get two Rumble matches to look forward to every year. And I'm not even gonna lie, the reason why I sometimes enjoy the women Royal Rumble matches a little bit more than the men Rumble matches nowadays is because of the surprises.
Yeah.
WWE really, every year I feel like with the women's Rumble, they always bring somebody in that you don't expect to see.
Yeah.
Like I remember last year's Rumble seeing Melina enter the Rumble with the paparazzi. That was such a
That
cool
was
moment.
so cool.
It just sucks that she botched and got eliminated early. She was actually supposed to be in there a little bit longer.
Yes.
But
But
I
that was
love
cool.
all the surprises that they do in the women Royal Rumbles. And honestly, like seeing all, these women evolve, the past, 10 years has been incredible to watch. Seeing them compete in, Money in the Bank ladder matches and seeing them, compete in like the matches that the men compete in and show that like they're more than just a bikini contest, bra and panties match.
Exactly.
And I think, in today's, professional wrestling, hot take, WWE is still reaching the numbers that they're reaching because of the women's revolution. You have all of these little girls that look up to, Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, Bailey.
Yes.
And I feel like, it's great to see them have a Royal Rumble match for the women.
I'm 120% with you, buddy.
What's the worst Royal Rumble? I have one, and I think you'll agree with me on this one. I don't know why this came across my mind, but they had this event in Saudi Arabia. It was called like the Greatest
Royal Rumble. Yeah, that was bad.
And
That was
horrible. And they had 50 people enter.
That was horrid. Horrific.
So bad.
Yes. Yes, that was horrific.
All right, so Chaz, you know how we end these episodes off of Old School versus New School. Do you think with the Royal Rumble matches, do you prefer Old School Rumble matches or New School Rumble matches, and why?
This might surprise you, but I'm going to split this one. I prefer the old ones because of the characters and the storylines that were I think the old school had better storylines and better they had better themes surrounding the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumbles meant something. It wasn't just getting in there and it was there was not just one storyline. It was there was multiple storylines going on at the same time. And there's because there were so many great memorable characters. But for today, the athleticism and just having the women getting what they deserve, I think definitely I just wish they would bring back more of I just wish they would concentrate more on telling the story, and it was a little too slow paced. I agree with you that the pace is really great, and you need that, and I agree with that, which again might surprise you, but I just wish they would slow down a bit on telling, just kind of concentrate on the storytelling a little more, and that's it. That's my only gripe on the new school. Other than that, I think it's freaking great.
Yes, they do need to, tell more stories during the Rumble matches. I do agree with you on that. And I think, you said it best. But if I'm going to pick one or the other, I am going to say new school wrestling over old school wrestling. And I think I have a good reason why.
Go ahead.
Because you see, back in the day, you did have some surprises here and there. You did. But of course, back in the day, they're also building the foundation for this spectacular event called the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I wasn't able to have surprises because everybody, it was new, right?
And that's like where I'm going to get at when it comes to new school. You get those surprises.
Yes,
you get, your new school guys. And you also get legends, that make appearances in the Rumble.
Yep.
And you get, all different types of things. And that's like what I like overall about, the new school Rumbles. You get your, really cool spots, which I think, if there's a time for you to do gymnastics, the Royal Rumble is probably the best place to do it, because as long as you are not touching the freaking floor, like Floor is Lava game, you are safe. So gymnastics, that works for a Royal Rumble match. But now when you're doing super kicks and friggin' Canadian destroyers and DDTs and all that, then it gets a little, repetitive. But
Right.
a Royal Rumble match, you need to survive.
Sure.
So if you need to do friggin' cartwheels and friggin' jumping from friggin' rope to rope, then like by all means, be a circus animal. That's the perfect time to do it.
Circus animal.
I just think like when it comes down to it, with like the new school Rumble, the fast pace, it works for
Yes.
the environment that the Rumble is taking place
I
in.
agree.
And I gotta say, the Royal Rumble is always going to be one of those spectacular events because of the surprises, the nostalgia, because everybody just, when you think of the Royal Rumble, you're thinking about all different moments. Like for me, my favorite was 98, yours was 92. I'm sure, friggin' a kid his favorite Rumble could have been the one Drew McIntyre won. There's all different, things out. Like everybody has a different Rumble, which is really cool about this event. Everybody's opinion is different.
Yeah. And that's what makes this show so great, that we can have these different opinions and share them and get, the Maniacs' opinions too. And we definitely want to hear your opinions and what was your favorite, and on all these topics, what your favorite moments were. And like you said, you're learning stuff from me, and I'm learning stuff from you. I mean, we're not perfect. I'm looking stuff up. I have to look stuff up sometimes because I don't remember stuff. But
look,
it's about learning. So
there's only one person in professional wrestling that is perfect, and his name is literally Mr. Perfect.
Yes, sir. Kurt Hennig, rest in peace.
That's right. But to the old school versus new school Maniacs, let us know in the comment section below your favorite Royal Rumble. We want to hear it down below. If you guys enjoyed this week's episode of We Are Wrestling's Old School versus New School, make sure to smash that like button now. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, subscribe, turn on the post notifications. It's Rumble week. We have nothing but Rumble content coming to the channel this week, especially a watch-along live Saturday,
Not going to want to miss that.
January 28th, baby. You are not going to want to miss it. We're going to have the whole We Are Wrestling crew here and a bunch of other people as well watching along. It's going to be a lit stream. Links down in the description below. You can go follow Chaz and I on our social medias. And if you want to go, subscribe to my personal channel, Best One Donnie, I'd be doing, some figure unboxings, and I'd be doing reactions to like Nickelodeon stuff. The links are down in the description below. But of course, to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, we'll see you next Monday with a new episode of Old School versus New School. Because of course, you already know, we are taking over.
Peace.